Video is about the differences between the SC245 by Paul Reed Smith guitars and the SE245 by PRS guitars. So obviously the number one difference is that the SC version by Paul Reed Smith guitars is actually made in the United States, where the SE is made in Korea. I think everybody knows that. Some of the things that you don't hear about very often, one of the things that really interested me is the break angle of the body relative to the neck. So I've noticed, if you look at that Les Paul over there, that's a Gibson Les Paul Studio, you can see that it falls away from the neck, and the way it's hanging on this wall, it's going towards the wall, so it's almost touching the wall towards the bottom. So that angle of the body to the neck does not exist on the Epiphone as much, I've noticed. And same thing here with the SE versus the SC. The SE, the body is very, very flat with the neck, it's parallel, and maybe just falls away just a tad towards this wall. But the SC version actually curves in towards the bottom. So the contours of the body take that into account. Whether or not that's a huge difference in sound, I don't know, but it's worth mentioning, and you don't really hear that mentioned very often. So another thing that's, pretty interesting and maybe a little subtle is the quality of the actual mahogany of this body. So this is a one-piece mahogany body on the SC, and it's a three-piece on the SE. I'll try to highlight that. You can see from the back. I'm trying to use my flashlight to try to highlight the difference here, but this piece of wood is a single piece. There's no seam to be found anywhere, whereas this is a piece of it's been pieced together, so you can see the grain in here, where actually it'd be a lot harder to hide a seam with this grain. But with the SE, then believe me, the seam is still hard to find, but the grain is really hard to see it where the lines are, but it's right about here. Whether or not that makes a big difference to the sound, I don't know, but I'll tell you, there's definitely a major difference in the look of the wood. So obviously the premium timbers go to the American version. They're going to pay more for the timbers. I'm not sure how much difference that really makes, but it's certainly worth thinking about. I also noticed that it's a lot darker. This is a lighter colored mahogany. This is darker, and I don't know if that's because of the spray or if it's the actual wood itself. So it's hard to say. They're both. I think these are both this is a tobacco version of the PRS, tobacco sunburst. And another thing here that's interesting is the difference in the bursts. This one has the translucent spray, where they actually went up onto this single cut area here. So it's really beautiful, these translucent sprays that they have on both guitars. You can see it everywhere, including on the sides. You can see grain on the side of both the SE and the SC. And the fit and finish is phenomenal. Every joint looks fantastic. They did a really good job of disguising the joints. This is interesting too. You can see the difference between the maple cap and the mahogany, where it's mated together on the SC. And actually, I don't see that here on this SE, but interestingly, I have another SE down here where you do see it. This is a 2011, I believe, and the one above me is a 2013, and the SC is a 2007. So either way, it's really beautiful that you can see the grain. I think that's just maybe it's just a personal preference, but I think you can see the joint here in this SE, where they mated the neck into the body. Normally you wouldn't see that. I mean, highlighting it with the flashlight, you wouldn't even notice that joint, but look how perfect it is. And same thing here on this joint. It's perfect. I got a little bit of dust in there, but the finish is beautiful. It just mates together nice. Right along here where the neck comes in, all perfect. Same goes for the SC. The joint's perfect, and has a beautiful grain showing through all the way along the edge of the fretboard. Perfection. Right where the rosewood meets the mahogany, the perfect straight line. There's no need for a binding on these. It's really beautiful. Another subtle difference here between the SC and the SE is that the SC has metal, what appears to be metallic indicators, whereas the SE has some kind of a plastic. And you can see a little bit of something going on there with the there's like this gold colored fill that they put in wherever there was imperfections. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still perfection. Like, the line is perfectly straight. There's really no need for a binding. It's just little subtle differences like that I noticed in the fretboard wood. Again, nothing to do with, it's more about the quality of the timber than the factory. The factory is obviously doing a really good job on it.